folks, and welcome to another video. I hope this one finds you, well, I hope it finds you sane. Sanity is difficult to maintain in 2024. It's a bit of a challenge, isn't it? Anyway, I hope this one does find you in a good place, folks. I've been away for a little bit, for reasons, and, well, the opportunity presented itself in which to do a flight and make a video. Opportunity knocked, and I answered the door. The secret to doing some cool shit in your life. Open the door when opportunity knocks. Say yes more than you say no. Except when you really need to say no. And there are a lot of situations, particularly in 2024, where you just need to say no. Or as we say here in Australia and across in Kiwi land, yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Folks, what have I got for you today? This gorgeous little bird. The bumblebee sort of livery. Well, that's what I'm calling it anyway. I think it's called an ADK livery. I don't know who or what ADK is. I just thought it was a pretty cool livery, the yellow and the black. I like this little aeroplane. This is the baby Phenom, the Phenom 100, the Cockspur Phenom 100. I think I featured it in a video a couple of months ago. There's a mod available for it. Now, this is a Modders Monday episode. You probably guessed that from the title of the video and the thumbnail. But there's a mod, and it's quite an interesting mod. We'll have a look at it en route. I should mention where we begin our journey. This is a great little... he's calling it... Look at this. Have a look at this. Squint hard, folks. There's someone just enjoying life overhead the field. I mean, in a slightly, dangerous place, I would imagine. But I suppose he's high enough. There shouldn't be anyone in the circuit there at that height. This is an enhancement. I've got people walking around as well. I really like this. This is an enhancement to an airport known as Mount Beauty. It's in Victoria, the southern state of Victoria here in Australia. And, yeah, really like it. Flew in here a while ago. And it's... there's another guy down this end of the field. Now, that is definitely in the zone. He is living on the edge, this guy. Opportunity knocked, and he said yes. He took my advice. I can't knock him for that. This airport in real life recently got a runway upgrade, runway lengthen. I think it's now to about 1,500 metres or something like that, which is plenty long enough for us in the Phenom. And the guy who built this little bit of freeware for this airport has included that runway upgrade. So that's where we begin our journey. So we're looking at the mod to the aircraft primarily, but we've got custom freeware at the origin. We've also got some quality custom freeware at our destination. Let me show you the flight plan. And here we are in little navmap, freshly updated. I think I missed a couple of updates. Now running version 3.0.8 64-bit. Whatever the hell 64-bit means. Is that a good amount of bits? 64? I've only got a handful of bits, and I struggle to maintain those. 64 sounds like a lot. Anyway. Folks, the tangents, they start early. Welcome aboard if you're new to the channel, by the way. And if you're a recent subscriber, like in the last few months, after I stopped making videos for a while, a special thank you. I should probably stop making videos more often, because it encourages a few people to subscribe. Although what I think encouraged people was the return of Jude on that video. Where the hell were we? Somewhere in Asia. There was something about a cave, a grotto. Look it up, folks. I can't remember. I just work here. But anyway, welcome aboard if you are new to the channel. If you are new to the channel, you may be a little bit unfamiliar with the background sounds that you are probably hearing Yes, real life birds. This is not AI sounds, folks. I film these things in the midst of a virtual jungle, and I've got a whole bunch of little creatures that surround me, and you hear them from time to time. I make no apologies for it. But if you don't like bird sounds, the sounds of nature in your flight simulation content, I completely understand. There are 100,000 bloody flight sim channels out there, folks. Most of them featuring the PMDG 777 as my screen shifts without my intervention. Righto, that's maybe a careful reminder, or a gentle reminder from little Navmac to say, hurry up, fella, and get to the flight plan. So that's what we'll do. As I mentioned, folks, we're in Victoria, Mount Beauty, over here up in the Alpine National Park. Beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Beautiful state, Victoria. Good people, for the most part. Victorians. You won't hear me say that too often, but I've been away for a while, and I'm feeling in a good place about my southern brethren. So yeah, and I've got to travel to Victoria soon, so I kind of need a few people on my side. I don't want to go down there and get bloody eggs thrown at me. That's the worst thing, to have eggs. Ever had eggs thrown at you, folks? Yeah, it's not pleasant. Anyway, back at the ranch, begin our journey Mount Beauty, beautiful Mount Beauty, and little Navmap has us tracking right overhead Melbourne. Righto, fair enough. Overhead the Melbourne VOR, if we must. All right, and then in a pretty much a due westerly direction towards our destination, and we're just going to cross the border. This is the border here. We're just going to cross the border into South Australia, and we're going to land a little place called Mount Gambier, where some custom freeware awaits us. 300 odd miles, 321 miles. We're going to cruise across at 360. Little Navmap's forecasting 1 hour of flight time. As I mentioned, this aircraft does now have a mod available. It improves the aircraft. Has me dragging this one back out of the hangar. We'll have a look at that mod en route, and anything else that comes to mind I'll share with you. Otherwise, let me get us started and on our way. Lots of activity here at the enhanced Mount Beauty. It is having an impact on the old frames. You might notice that as I sort of pan around here, she's a bit of a jarring image. I drop about 15 frames when I come outside with everything that's going on. But it's bloody impressive. There's lots of activity. There's stuff to see. There's stuff to maintain your interest. Looks like we've got a meat bomber happening, sort of meat bombing about to take place over there, operating out of the caravan. Excited young person there. He seems to be doing some anxious yoga. What does that say? No aircraft parking. Oh, this guy, look at him, he's chilled. Hey, lying down on the ground. We've got some gliders. We've got old mate over here who's excited about something. Who's he looking at? No one in particular that I can see. He's just excited about aviation. Aren't we all, folks? Aren't we all? Back inside, things will get a little bit quieter, and hopefully my frame rate will improve, although it really hasn't. We've got caution. Why have we got caution? Just a general caution because I'm flying? Probably. Parking brake can come off. We've got flaps set. Trim, I think's about right. Heading bugs aligned. We're barring up. Runway 32 here at Mount Beauty. Let's do it, folks. We're hearing some noises from the cabin, courtesy of the old FS Realistic. Bring some juices in. Takeoff power is set. Airspeed is alive and all of that. Very nice. Light breeze here this morning. Up through 80. Rotate around about here. Away we go. Nice and gently does it. Beautiful. Positive rate gear up and all that. Up into the bars. Oh, beautiful morning here. As we track down the valley for a little bit, we'll sort of climb to, I don't know, probably about 4,000 or 5,000 hand fly, why not? Flight change mode, flight level change mode, sort of bug up a bit. up to about, I don't know, about 190, something like that. What do you reckon? That'll do us. Get some flaps up. We might, no, we'll keep hand flying for a little bit. Come back into the climb detent, which is there. Yeah, so this mod does make some changes to the aeroplane which are quite noticeable, and positive changes, improvements, including to the flight model, addressing some of the concerns from the community when this aircraft was first released. And I don't think it's been updated by our friends at Cockspur ever since. So the mod is kind of all we've got at the moment. We'll take autopilot here. Thanks, Georgie. We'll go heading mode. We'll come around towards our first waypoint, take up a westerly track, 270. Flight level change 190, gears up, flaps are up. Everything is tickety-boo. Might get a little bit loud out here, folks. It's a nice livery, isn't it? Nice looking aeroplane. The Phenoms, 100 and the 300. Yeah, and the mod turns it into an EV model. And we'll have a look at the detail of the mod during the course of this flight. But anyway, I think I can call it safely away from Mount Beauty on our way towards Mount Gambier. I'll see you en route, folks, and we'll have a look at what this mod does. Alright, welcome to flight level 360. We're about 70 miles from Melbourne Airport, Tullamarine, at this time. Everything going quite well, it must be said. We might just bring ourselves back into the cruise detent, like so. We'll continue to accelerate, doing Mach 0.6 at the moment. Yeah, everything going quite well. What I will say is it's about the sounds in this aeroplane. The mod doesn't touch the sounds. And for me, it wasn't just me, but I can speak for myself. It's my channel. The sounds in this aeroplane are not great. I recognise that there is a sound pack available, an FT Sim Plus sound pack. I haven't been able to get it to work. My ability to read English and process simple instructions is clearly starting to deteriorate. I wasn't able to get it to work. And I actually had to uninstall the aircraft completely and reinstall it to get the engine sounds back, even though I did a backup. Restoring from the backup of the file that you're supposed to back up didn't work for me, so I'm not going to touch the FT Sim Plus sounds. If you've been able to get them to work, and if they make an improvement for you, then you fill your boots, folks. But so I'm just running with the stock sounds here in the aeroplane. They can be better. They could be better. I wish they were better. But the mod does make some noticeable improvements, which we're now going to have a look at in detail. Alright, so here is the mod page over on the .to. There will be a link to it in the description for you folks, as well as a link to the freeware scenery that I've mentioned, and anything else that I may have mentioned or will mention for the rest of this video. There are links in the description. There are also timestampy things. I do that for your benefit, folks. You're very welcome. So this is the Cockspur Phenom 100 EV enhancement mod. CFD, I can't remember what CFD is. TFD, I know, is the Flying Dad. That's me. What's CFD? Cool Flying Dad? I don't know. CFD, it's got some bloody aeronautical meaning, doesn't it? Ground handling a new flight model. CFD. Should have done some research, folks. Hey, nothing much ever changes on this channel, folks. I can take months off. It's still as poorly prepared as ever. So this is version 1.1 point something. Anyway, it gives you 16 knots faster. It turns it into the EV, the Phenom EV. You get 16 knots faster TAS, I guess, 35 pounds more thrust, and apparently 150 nautical miles more range. That's handy. Now, I haven't tested those numbers myself, folks. You're going to have to take my word for it. So this mod makes the Phenom 100 closer to the Phenom 100 EV, increasing the power of the engines, increasing range, while also increasing fuel economy. There's a lot of increasing going on. What do we do? What are the key differences? Well, that's a nice summary. So the EV has the upgraded Pratt & Whitney engine, which produces 35 additional pounds of thrust. Doesn't sound like a lot, but hey, you got to never say no to additional thrust, if you know what I mean, folks. The Phenom EV has a maximum cruise speed of 405 knots. That's TAS, whereas the as default Phenom has 390. Handy. The EV has an additional 139 nautical miles of range. Well, I think you just said 150 up here, right? So which one is it, champ? It's more than 100. Can we agree on that? Let's do that. Requires 65 feet less runway. Well, that's not a big improvement. Now the EV has the Garmin 3000 versus the Garmin G1000, which you get in the sim. It's not simulated, the Garmin 3000 here in this mod, so I don't have permissions to change the 3D model. That'd be nice, eh? If Cockspur could, put the 3000 into this thing. There is another Phenom in development, another developer. I have a suspicion that we might get the Garmin G3000 in that one. That'll be the Phenom 300. When we see that, I don't know. Huge changes to the flight model. Huge changes. Reworked most of the flight model to make the aircraft fly a lot better, and it does. It flies better, particularly close to the ground. It feels much better in the round out flare. That's CFD, computational fluid dynamics. That's fancy. And tweak this, yeah. We'll respond to crosswind a lot more, yeah, okay. We'll feel like it's actually flying in wind than floating around everywhere. The engine power will actually reflect the flight dynamics. Okay, that's nice. Rework the ground handling. Yeah, it's nice on the ground. I don't remember what the original one was on the ground. I don't know. The aircraft is a lot more nimble. It doesn't feel super heavy. Yeah, the other one felt like a big bird, didn't it? It's, yeah. So I agree with his statement. The flaps have been reworked so they actually add drag and lift. Nice. You should notice you don't need to keep the engines at 90% thrust when landing on full flaps. I didn't notice that originally, but I'll take your word for it. The aircraft can actually stall properly. Oh yeah, whatever. Additional 35, you already said that. Tweak the fuel logic so it's more fuel efficient. Tweak the flight model at low speeds. Yeah. Max cruise setting is now possible to reach 400 knots, 406 TAS at 30,000 with no headwind. Yeah, recommended mods was this sound overhaul. As I said, I couldn't get it to work. And there's another mod for the RGB cabin lighting. I don't have that installed. There's some important notes. There's also a video that comes with it. Version 1.1.2 is what I'm running here, folks. There you go. That's the mod, the Cockspur Phenom 100 EV enhancement mod. Link to it in the description, folks. I'll next see you for an approach into Mount Gambier. Alright folks, approach time. Down through 7,000, we've got local barrow set, that's 1014, down to 240 knots. We've set ourselves up here for a visual approach, the runway 36 at Mount Gambier. We're pretty much on the visual profile. The diamond is just below where it should be, if I'm interpreting that correctly. We're just a little bit high, but that's okay. 240 knots. Life is good. We do have a decent northwesterly blowing at Mount Gambier. Temperature of 13 degrees. Yeah, runway 36 is the longest strip. Happy with that. We can just reduce our vertical speed or vertical descent just a tad. Thanks, Georgie. I want to get that diamond right in the centre. 6,000. We've got 18 miles to touchdown. Everything's looking good. Yeah, this mod brings new life potentially to this aeroplane. If you picked it up, it's been out for a little while. If you picked it up and maybe were a bit underwhelmed by it, or there's just so many different aeroplanes there that you just can't keep up, and you fly something for a week or two, and then another aeroplane comes along, and then you fly that, rinse, repeat, and before you know it, you've got this virtual hangar full of aeroplanes. But if you're a Phenom fan and you may be looking to get better value out of this one if you purchased it, the mod potentially, is for you. Unfortunately not if you're on Xbox. You're going to have to take what you get in the marketplace. I don't think Cockspur have updated it. I don't know if they will update it. It's a shame because I think it could be a better aircraft than what it is. Better sounds. The mod has improved the handling quite a lot. That really should be built into the stock aircraft, I think. I don't think you should need mods to do that, but hey, I'm grateful for the modder. Thank you, whoever you are. And as I mentioned earlier, there will be a link in the description. We might give Georgie a rest from this point. Then we'll do some of that pilot shit. Georgie, what do you reckon? Hey, you've beautifully trimmed, mate. Done well here. Very simple approach, folks. Basically a right base down onto 3.6. We'll get rid of that flight director because it reminds me of how poor a pilot I am. Get ourselves slowed down. Can't remember what the flap extension speed is in the Phenom. Somewhere around about 200 knots is my guess. 4,000 feet now. We've got just under 12 miles to run. Starting to slow down. We don't have speedy brakes in the Phenom. Although I wonder if the EV does have speed brakes. I don't know. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there's not a lot of research that goes in here, folks. Just had an opportunity to go for a fly and make a video, and I thought I might give the flight sim content, flight sim viewing audience a bit of a break from the PMDG. Everyone's flying that bloody thing, right? Yeah, you get a bit sick of it after a while. I don't see too many people flying this thing. My channel's basically made up of videos that other people don't make. It's be a little bit different. I fly what I like to fly. Make videos if others like them. That's great. If not, I've still enjoyed myself. So it's all about, folks. You got to enjoy yourself. I'm going to take first stage of flap. 8 miles to run. We're probably a little high, even though the diamond kind of has me in a pretty good shape here. I'll just zoom that range in a little bit. Sort of make this turn look respectable. Turn on to final. 180 knots. Flaps at 5. Can we take another stage of flaps? Alright. Will the magenta adjusts itself? We're right on vertical profile. 170 knots. I'm going to cut that corner too much though, mate. 160 knots now. We're slowing down once you get a bit of flap out. And we'll take gear basically once we're established on final. This would be the town of Mount Gambier underneath us. Please do give me a shout out in the comments if you hail from this part of the world. Love to hear from you. 140 knots now. We're doing alright on this turn. Strong breeze, 27 knots out of the northwest. And 40 knots now. Try and get a shot of. I got a view set up for this one. I'm gonna do out there. That would be a natural sort of view that you'd want to have, wouldn't you? Look to where you're going. It does help sometimes as a pilot to know where you're going. Yeah, so we've cut that corner a little bit. We're probably getting it a tad low on it. Bring a little bit of juices in. Not helped by the breeze, which is kind of going to push us towards the right of track. Landing, I know. I'm going to take landing gear. Didn't need the reminder, Georgie. I was looking for a late deployment, mate. There's our runway. We'll take another stage of flap. Need a little bit more juicy. What's our VREF? Oh, we do have a VREF. 90, looks like about 95. Slightly low on it. That's flaps, what's that, flaps 3 or something? I don't know, Flaps 3, we've got one more stage to go. A little bit of juicy to get us there. Now we're getting low. One more stage of flap to go. Breeze is 20 knots, we're going to have to fight that. The mod author did say that they've improved the crosswind handling, so I guess we're about to find out. Well, either that or how ordinary a virtual pilot I am. And we'll take full flap now. All the reds. A bit more juicy to get us. We're needing a lot of juice. 3 reds, 1 white. Strong breeze. Definitely feel it. 2 whites, 2 reds. Runway 36, Mount Gambier. Our final checks. Fingers are crossed. Our sphincter is zipped up tight. Our gear is down. And our flaps are set. And we're coming in a little hot. And a little high. Runway 36, here we go. Oh, fighting that breeze. Oh boy. Yeah, there we go. We're on eventually. Folks, welcome to Mount Gambier, South Australia.